It is not uncommon to leave your home country to somewhere else in search of greener pastures. Some of the most respectable people in the world started this way, but when Kristina came into a new city, the pastures were far from green. Years later, Kristina Svechinskaya is known as the world's sexiest hacker with hundreds of millions of dollars in cyber heists. So how did she go from a young, promising girl with big dreams to one of the most notorious hackers ever? This is the riveting story of Kristina Svechinskaya and her involvement in the quicksand world of cyber crimes. Growing up in Moscow in 1989, Kristina Svechinskaya had a childhood like many others in the city. Amidst the remnants of the Soviet era and the promise of a new age, Kristina was set apart from the rest of her peers as she showed early signs of curiosity and intelligence. Her parents were happy and proud that she would grow up to be absolutely brilliant, so they ensured she attended reputable schools in Moscow. Not surprisingly, little Kristina excelled greatly. In all of her subjects, she was amongst the top of her class. But what was even more curious was the fact that the subjects she did well the most in were mathematics and computer science. This was the first sign of what was to come for the young little girl. But who would have thought that excelling in computer science could ever evolve into something catastrophically evil? But school was not the only place where Kristina showed her wit and passion. Whenever she got home, while others would turn on the cartoons and beg their parents to go play outside, Kristina was a little different in this regard. She would spend hours exploring the intricacies of technology and finding joy and fascination in solving digital puzzles. At this point, you may be thinking to yourself that she was some type of nerd, but surprisingly, Kristina's interests and passions also evolved into the world of dance, especially ballet. When she was not studying or solving digital puzzles, she'd practice graceful movements of ballet in her room, and she enjoyed every bit of it. But as she grew older, she began to desire more. She wanted to experience all the cool things life had to offer, and she believed the first step would be to leave Russia, her home country, and find greener pastures elsewhere. So with giddy optimism and determination, she set her sights on New York City, eager to embrace the challenges and opportunities that awaited her. However, as she made it to New York, her life took a completely different turn, adding a disturbing twist to her beautiful and innocent life. She was ushered into a new world, a world she never thought she'd be fascinated by, the world of cybercrime. Kristina Svechinskaya's journey into cybercrime began innocently enough, but it quickly spiraled into something much larger than she had ever imagined. In the bustling streets of New York City, she found herself lured into a world of quick riches and dubious opportunities. At first, the promise of easy money seemed too good to pass up. Svechinskaya, like many others, was enticed by the prospect of earning a hefty sum without much effort. Little did she know, she was unwittingly stepping into a web of deceit and criminal activity. As she became more deeply involved, Svechinskaya's role in the operation expanded. She was tasked with moving large sums of money through her bank accounts, believing she was merely assisting in legitimate financial transactions. However, behind the scenes, cybercriminals were using her accounts to launder money obtained through illicit means. The operation grew increasingly sophisticated, employing a variety of tactics to target unsuspecting victims. From phishing emails that tricked individuals into revealing their financial information to malware that compromised the security of business and financial institutions, the criminals spared no effort in their pursuit of ill-gotten gains. Despite her initial ignorance of the true nature of her actions, Svechinskaya soon realized the extent of her involvement in criminal activity. The realization weighed heavily on her conscience, but by then, she felt trapped in a world from which there seemed to be no escape. However, as the saying goes, every dog has its day. Law enforcement agencies, vigilant in their pursuit of cyber criminals, eventually caught wind of the operation. With their sights set on bringing those responsible to justice, they launched a thorough investigation, uncovering the intricate web of deceit that Svechinskaya had unwittingly become a part of. For Svechinskaya, the consequences were swift and severe. Caught in the crosshairs of the law, she found herself facing charges that would irrevocably alter the course of her life. The allure of easy money had led her down a dark path, one from which there would be no turning back. Kristina Svechinskaya's ascent into notoriety was propelled by her purported role in a widely publicized cyber attack on U.S. banks in 2010. Teaming up with an international collective of hackers, she allegedly employed the infamous Zeus Trojan, a sophisticated malware tool crafted to pilfer banking credentials to breach countless bank accounts. The repercussions of this attack reverberated far beyond the confines of cyberspace. It laid bare the glaring vulnerabilities inherent in financial institutions, exposing the ease with which cybercriminals could exploit weaknesses in digital security measures. Moreover, the incident served as a stark reminder of the borderless nature of cybercrime, transcending geographical boundaries and jurisdictional limitations. In response to the unprecedented threat posed by the cyber attack, law enforcement agencies from around the globe mobilized in a concerted effort to dismantle the criminal network responsible. Collaborative investigations were initiated, spanning continents and crossing legal jurisdictions, as authorities pooled their resources and expertise to apprehend those implicated in the operation. The ensuing crackdown marked a significant milestone in the ongoing battle against cybercrime, showcasing the power of international cooperation in combating digital threats. However, for Svechinskaya and her associates, it also spelled the beginning of the end. Using the Zeus Trojan, the hackers gained access to personal banking information with a man-in-browser key logger. Getting the malware onto the victim's PC requires a phishing attack or the successful execution of a drive-by download. In the case of a drive-by download, it refers to not understanding exactly what you're downloading or where you don't receive a notification that a download is in progress from your browser. Originally identified in July 2007 after hackers used it to steal information from the US Department of Transportation, the Zeus Trojan became widely available by 2009. Due to the stealth techniques the malware uses, detecting it even with today's latest antivirus programs remains difficult. Once it infects your PC, the Trojan will modify other portions of the system's software and replicate itself within the code of these applications. After the hackers gain access to your banking information, money mules open fake accounts and receive a commission on all of the funds collected. For Svechinskaya, this amounted to between 8% and 10%. The FBI clamped down on the hackers in 2010, leading to the arrest and prosecution of more than 100 individuals around the world. Kristina Svechinskaya's illicit endeavors eventually drew the scrutiny of law enforcement agencies, culminating in her arrest by U.S. authorities in November 2010. The ensuing legal proceedings thrust her into the spotlight, shedding light on the intricate web of cybercrime and the daunting challenges posed by prosecuting individuals involved in such activities across international borders. In April 2011, Svechinskaya opted to plead guilty to her involvement in both the cyber attack on U.S. banks and the money mule operation. Recognizing the gravity of her actions, she chose to cooperate with authorities, offering invaluable insights into the inner workings of the cybercriminal network to which she belonged. Her cooperation proved instrumental in unraveling the complexities of the case and gathering crucial evidence against her accomplices. Despite her cooperation, Svechinskaya could not evade accountability for her crimes. In September 2011, she faced sentencing for her transgressions. However, the court took into consideration her cooperation and time served, ultimately opting to deport her to her native Russia rather than impose further incarceration. Svechinskaya's case underscored the evolving landscape of cybercrime and the pressing need for international collaboration in addressing its myriad challenges. Her story served as a cautionary tale, highlighting the harsh realities awaiting those who choose to engage in illegal activities in the digital realm, regardless of geographical boundaries or legal jurisdictions. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing. The next story would be even more intriguing.